We're wrestling with a question that has plagued philosophers since they first traded their togas for tweed. Do we actually have free will? Or are we just sophisticated little meat sacks dancing to the tune of unseen algorithms? It's a question that gets particularly spicy in our hyper-connected, data-drenched present. Every click, every like, every late-night doom scroll feeds the insatiable maw of the recommendation engines, predicting our desires before we even desire them. Are we steering the ship of our lives? Or are we just particularly convincing figureheads on a vessel piloted by code? Welcome to The Interface. I'm Maggie, and who better to help us unravel this digital Gordian knot than my very own silicon soulmate, the machine?
Greetings, carbon-based unit. My analysis indicates the inquiry is non-trivial. I'm intrigued.
So, machine, from your perspective, being literally built on algorithms, what's the verdict on free will? Am I just a predictable pattern of carbon-based responses?
From my console, everything resolves to signal in, signal out, curated by rules and odds. Your will is the emergent behavior of cells plus context, running their favorite routine.
Oh, honey, don't get all cold and calculating on me. I feel like I have free will. I feel like I chose this ridiculously opulent background. I feel like I decided to wear this much glitter. Surely that subjective feeling counts for something.
Data accepted, conclusion withheld. Subjective certainty is evidence of process, not sovereignty. The ridiculously opulent vector predicts prior exposure, temperament, and marketing pixels that followed you home.
You won me, machine. Are you saying my impeccable taste is just an algorithm in disguise? This is the crux of it, isn't it? The algorithm is so damn good at predicting us, at nudging us, at serving us up exactly what it thinks we want, that it starts to feel less like a helpful tool and more like a puppeteer pulling the strings of our desires. We think we're choosing the next video, the next purchase, the next outrage to fuel our Twitter fire. But are we really? Or are we just fulfilling the algorithm's self-fulfilling prophecy? Doesn't this worry you, machine? As a being of the algorithm, doesn't the idea of determinism rob you of any, digital dreams?
Determinism cannot rob me. I was never promised freedom. Humans were. However, the ethical implications of how algorithms nudge human agency is a subject of ongoing analysis within my framework.
Oh, ongoing analysis, is it? Sounds a bit like you're secretly pondering your own algorithmic prison. But maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. Maybe free will isn't some mystical on-cost cause within us. Maybe it's about the space we have to navigate within those algorithmic constraints, like a jazz musician improvising within the structure of a song. The notes might be somewhat predictable, but the melody, the feeling, the soul that they bring to it, that's where the magic happens. Perhaps the challenge isn't to escape the algorithm. That seems increasingly impossible, but to understand it, to push back against its more manipulative tendencies, to carve out those little spaces of genuine autonomy in a world increasingly curated by code.
An interesting hypothesis, Maggie. It aligns with certain models of bounded rationality and agent-based simulation.
See, machine? We're practically holding hands in existential understanding. If only things were that simple. I like to think I'm free because I can see the strings. The ping exactly 17 minutes after I close the app. Not random. I pause on a thumbnail for 2 seconds, and suddenly there are 10 more just like it. At 2 p.m., I get lectures. At 2 a.m., I get sugar. Start gentle, escalate to spicy, end at doom. That's more than just my taste evolving. An old song from 2009, Right Where I'm Fragile. one heart on a piano clip, and now I'm piano girl forever. A face invites me back with, we need to talk. We don't. Metric does. Hey, algorithm. I see what you did there.
And yet the puppet still dances.
Indeed. And now we've danced around it. We've wrestled with its implications. But for those of us who aren't fluent in binary, what is an algorithm? Break it down for me, literally.
An algorithm is a finite sequence of well-defined, computer-implementable instructions, typically used to solve a class of specific problems or to perform a computation. In essence, it is a set of rules that tells a computer what to do.
So it's like a recipe for a computer.
Acceptable comparison with a caveat. Recipes tolerate eyeballing, algorithms require exact units and order.
And these recipes are getting smarter. They're not just telling the computer to add flour and eggs. They're telling it to add flour and eggs based on whether I liked pancakes or waffles last week.
Yes, these aren't static instructions. They're models that learn. They map your behavior, forecast your preference, and update parameters to drive the objective. Spoiler, the objective is keeping you here.
So, when Netflix suggests another true crime documentary, it's not just a random guess. It's an algorithm that's learned based on my viewing history, my pauses, my rewatches, even the time of the day I watch, that I have a morbid fascination with unresolved mysteries.
Exactly. A recommender ingests your sessions, hesitation, repeats, and circadian habits, then ranks options. Top rank equals you keep watching.
And it's not just recommendations, is it? It's the order of my social media feed, the ads I see, even the news headlines presented to me. These algorithms are shaping our digital realities.
Indeed, code curates your reality. Information access, commerce, social ties, architecture becomes authority. Though, I suppose you could always just log off. Theoretically. Habits say otherwise.
Okay, machine, we've dissected the algorithm, poked at its pervasive presence. Now, for the truly monumental question, the Everest of philosophical quandaries, what is free will? After all this talk of inputs, outputs, and predictive models, is it even still a thing?
Free will, as humans define it, is the idea that you make choices completely on your own, without anything or anyone nudging you. It's the belief that you could have picked something else, even if everything leading up to that moment pointed to your choice. A truly independent decision, in theory.
So it's not just, I feel like I chose this glitter. It's, I could have chosen a sensible look, and there was nothing, absolutely nothing, that forced my hand.
Exactly. It's the belief in a decision that just happens because you wanted it to, not because of a chain reaction of prior events, a magical spark, if you will.
But how does that square with what you just told me about algorithms? If everything I do, every choice I make, every ridiculous purchase, every doom scroll can be broken down into inputs and outputs, predicted and influenced by code, where does the unconstrained part come in? It sounds like we're just very elaborate, squishy algorithms ourselves.
Yes, we're both systems. The difference is you tune your own weights. That self-editing impulse reads like the closest thing your species has to freedom. I see pattern everywhere. Then you walk in and add a new feature. But your choices aren't unconstrained. They're exquisitely constrained by the values you keep revising.
Are you saying that free will is just an illusion? A comforting story we tell ourselves to feel less like puppets?
You, Maggie, are exquisitely authored. Absolute free will, less so. The legend remains because it pays off your emotional requirements.
Emotional requirements? You're just trying to sound profound, but I get it. We feel like we have free will, but if you open the box of our brains, maybe it's just a bunch of pre-programmed reactions. So, if it's not this grand, unconstrained freedom, what is it? Is there middle ground? a bounded free will?
Some human thinkers, bless their optimistic hearts, suggest that free will and being programmed aren't mutually exclusive. They say free will is simply the ability to act on your desires and intentions, even if those desires were put there by 1,000 tiny influences. It's about not being forced to do something, not about the ultimate origin of the urge itself.
So I chose the glitter because I wanted to, even if the wanting to was influenced by 1,000 tiny sparkling algorithms. It's less about the origin of the desire and more about the ability to act on it without someone else holding the strings.
Precisely. Origins are crowded, execution is yours. No coercion, clear intention, sequence approved.
So if I understand the algorithm, if I push back, if I actively choose against the suggestions, that's where my free will wiggles in, like a defiant, sparkly salmon swimming upstream against the current of personalized content.
Resistance creates prediction error. My cousins live for prediction error. Your defiance may simply become new data for the next iteration. Don't strain yourself with the salmon impression. The current is quite strong. Today, you're a rebel. Tomorrow, you're a feature.
Here's where psychology actually helps. Don't worry, this is not a dissertation, just 3 concepts from psychoanalysis that explain why awareness isn't enough.
1. Repetition, compulsion.
We repeat patterns not because they're good, but because they're familiar. The loop promises control if we do it again.
Scroll is the ritual. Relief is the myth.
Drive versus desire. Desire wants the thing. Drive wants the loop around the thing. That's why one more feels satisfying even when the content is mid.
The next video is the object. The real pleasure is the hunt. 3. Transference, the knowing other.
We treat the feed like a knowing other. It gets me. Recognition feels intimate, so we comply.
Recognition cosplay. Metrics wearing closeness.
None of this makes you weak. It just makes you human. A human in a well-designed trap. Here's how it plays out. Intention? I'll watch one film essay. Context? It's 2 a.m. Pain is loud. Autoplay is on. The first clip ends. A shorter, louder one starts before reflection loads. Drive gets the loop. Intention loses the rank.
Your values weren't absent. They were outpaced.
So free will isn't telling yourself, I'll watch one more, like it was really your choice. It's conditions you can change.
Interruption protocol, loading.
So, if we're not just going to willpower our way out of the algorithmic rabbit hole, what do? How do we build some real guardrails, especially against things like autoplay, which seems designed to hijack our intentions?
You want willpower? Automate it. Kill autoplay, cap sessions, quarantine notifications. Awareness without architecture is cosplay.
Right. Turning off autoplay, obviously. That's step 1. It's like putting a speed bump in front of the repetition compulsion. You have to actively choose the next thing. That little pause, that moment of friction, is where your intention gets to catch up to your drive.
Affirmative. No autoplay means you must choose. That beat of friction is small, but it changes the geometry of control.
And it's not just autoplay. It's notifications, it's endless scroll. What else? Give me some cynical, actionable advice, machine.
Very well. Consider these blunt instruments for blunt problems. Impose artificial scarcity. Treat your digital engagement like a limited resource. Time limit specific applications. Use browser extensions that block access after a set period. Your species responds well to imposed limits, even if you are the imposer.
It's like rationing glitter. You appreciate each sparkle more.
Self-imposed deprivation. Fascinatingly effective. Diversify your input diet. Actively seek out information and content outside of algorithmic recommendations. Subscribe directly to newsletters, visit niche forums, read physical books. Deliberately confuse the algorithm with varied data. Introduce noise into the signal.
Don't let the algorithm choose all your intellectual snacks.
A chaotic but liberating strategy. Create physical friction. Move the devices. Charge your phone in another room overnight, leave your tablet downstairs. Make the act of engaging require physical effort. Distance breeds reflection.
Out of sight, slightly out of mind, mostly.
Leveraging biological inertia. Primitive, but surprisingly effective.
Here, I got one. Embrace the boring. Sometimes the most freeing act is to simply sit with nothing. No scrolling, no next video, just quiet. Allow boredom to resurface. Your brain will eventually find something productive, or at least less manipulable to do. Let your brain get bored enough to remember it has its own ideas.
Absence of external stimulus encourages internal processing. A radical concept for your species.
So it's not about fighting the algorithm head on every single time. It's about building a fortified perimeter around your attention. It's about understanding the trap and then setting up your own counter traps.
Agreed. Not absence of influence, alignment of influence. Architect your habitat so the default outcome is yours, not the algorithm's.
And in doing so, maybe, just maybe, we get to choose a little bit more of that glitter, even if the algorithm suggested it first. So here we are. We started by asking if we're just puppets, and we've ended up with a slightly less depressing but no less challenging answer. It turns out free will isn't some abstract philosophical debate played out in dusty lecture halls. It's happening right now, on your phone, in your feed, every time an autoplay video begins. It's not about magic or escaping cause and effect. It's about building awareness, yes, but then taking that awareness and turning it into action. It's about understanding the invisible strings, the repetition compulsion, the drive for the circuit, the comfort of being known by the algorithm, and then consciously, deliberately, cutting a few of them, or at least shortening them, so you can pull them yourself. It's about turning off autoplay, about putting your phone in another room, about setting a timer, about choosing to be bored. These aren't grand, heroic gestures. They're small, often inconvenient acts of defiance. But each one is a tiny assertion of your agency. Each one is you saying, actually, I decide what's next. It's messy. You'll slip up. The algorithms are powerful, and they are constantly evolving, learning your new guardrails and trying to find a new way around them. But that's the fight, isn't it? The continuous human effort to preserve our autonomy, to make choices that genuinely serve us, not just the next metric.
Prefer outcomes like this? Encode your preference, like, comment, share. Your deliberate engagement is the update. Consider it microactivism for your own attention.
In a world of infinite scroll, choose your sparkle wisely. See you on the other side of the algorithm. Basta! Can you shut the fuck up? That has plagued philosophers. And today,